the Persian Gulf Pro League Most Valuable 11. There's never been a show like it, and we got it for you right here on Team Melli Talk. We also have DZ, Dara Zarandi. Dara, how's it going, man?
I'm doing good, Art. How about yourself?
Same old, you know the routine. We all know this routine. So let's get started right away. And let's just be clear about something with our audience, with our viewers, of course, is that this is the Persian Gulf Pro League Most Valuable 11 according to Transfermarkt. So if anyone wants to, get upset about what we're talking about, that's a waste of time because we did not come up with it. Eventually, we will come up with our Most Valuable 11. And of course, we know that one's going to be top notch. So let's just get right to it. First, I just want to rattle off these names, starting from the striker position, going all the way down to the goalkeeper position. So we have Alipour, Mehdi Torabi, Farshid Esmaeili, Siamak Nemati, Kamal Kamyabinia, Ahmad Nourollahi, Saeid Aghaei, Shoja Khalilzadeh, Roozbeh Cheshmi, Vouria Ghafouri, and of course, last but not least, Alireza Beiranvand. Okay, now, Dara, what we're doing today is we want to decide and talk about whether or not we think these players are Team Melli material. So think about it as Team Melli material or not Team Melli material, however you want to word it. Now, starting with the goalkeeping position, enough said, we do not need to talk about this. We know Alireza Beiranvand is a legend for the national team of Iran. He's continuing to play well, so we could just go straight to the wing backs and center backs. Does that sound good?
Let's do it.
All right, first, left back Saeid Aghaei of Sepahan. He's 25 years old. He's made 5 appearances for Team Melli, and he was also in Iran's preliminary squad for the 2018 World Cup. Ultimately, he did not make the final cut and go to Russia. But from your opinion, what do you say? Is Saeid Aghaei Team Melli material or not?
He's one of those guys for me that's borderline Team Melli material. I'm not a big fan of his in particular. I think overall he's a solid player, but I do worry about his defensive capabilities. I don't think he's that solid of a defender. I think he's more of a threat on the counterattacks going forward. He's a great crosser. He has very good offensive elements to his game. Defensively, he's a little bit unreliable in my opinion. So I'm going to go with no for him. It's a debatable conversation. We could go in circles about it all day. For me, my opinion is no.
All right, from one wing back to the other, of course, we talked about left back, now a right back. Now, the right back here that we're talking, Vouria Ghafouri of Esteghlal. Now, he's 32 years old. He's been playing for Iran since 2014. He's made over 30 appearances for Iran. And I just want to say, personally, I think he is still Team Melli material, only because, the wing back, especially the right back position, is not really super solidified. And I think he brings very good leadership. But I would just say that if there was more depth at this position, then I would say he wouldn't be Team Melli material anymore.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think that we definitely do need our veterans in the team. It's not just all about going young. And that right back spot is a little bit, I would say, spotty in terms of depth. So I personally would still like to see him in Team Melli. I think he would be an awesome kind of like mentor for Sadeq Moharami, who I'd like to see be the undoubted starter because I think he's by far the best right back Iran has. So I would love to have Vouria be in a mentorship role for Sadeq and just be there for depth purposes because he's been Esteghlal best player, I think, or one of their best players in this season.
Let's get to the center backs. Now, 2 players, let's mention them. Let's talk about both these players at once. So first, Shoja Khalilzadeh, who's 31 years old, plays for Persepolis, played for Iran between 2012 and 2016, only 5 caps. Then we also have Roozbeh Cheshmi, who's 26, 18 appearances for Iran. Of course, he plays for Esteghlal. Let's not forget that he did play for Iran in the opening match of the 2018 World Cup. Now, both these players to me come off as a little interesting. I just want to say that to me, Roozbeh Cheshmi is still Team Melli material. I mean, do I feel like he should be starting? I'm not going to go so far as to say he should be starting, but he should still be getting called up. As for Khalilzadeh, you probably know more about him than me, but just from his age, I would say he's definitely not Team Melli material anymore.
Yeah, so Cheshmi, I think he definitely is Team Melli material. I don't even think that's really up for debate. He has he brings a great level of versatility to the table, and being that he could play as a defensive midfielder or a center back. I like him more in the defensive midfield role. I don't think he's solid enough defensively to be a center back. We've seen him both for Esteghlal and Team Melli, like, you know, not really keep up with it with the forwards and whatnot. He has trouble against pacey, quick forwards. So for that reason, not that reason alone, but I do believe that he's better suited as a defensive midfielder. And he, again, for me, he's a big yes. And for Khalilzadeh, talent-wise, he certainly is. He does have his shortcomings, which is that he is very rash in his challenges and is very hot-headed, and his attitude is questionable. So he has a lot of downside to him in that regard. But as far as just being a solid center back, he, in my opinion, definitely is. But again, the character issues, the hot-headedness, those things are enough to, for me as a Team Melli fan, it's enough for me to not want him to see him in Team Melli. So I'll go with a no for him, and a yes for Cheshmi, just like you.
All right, now next, let's get to our defensive midfielders. Now, according to Transfermarkt, the two best defensive midfielders in the Persian Gulf Pro League, both from Persepolis, Kamal Kamyabinia and Ahmad Nourollahi. Now, I think this one is easy for us to answer in terms of Ahmad Nourollahi, who has been putting in some good performances for Iran in World Cup qualification. He's 27 years old. He's made 7 appearances for Iran. He was also on the roster at the 2019 Asian Cup. But what about Kamyabinia? I mean, he's 31 years old. He's made 5 appearances for Iran since 2015. I mean, what can you tell me about Kamyabinia?
Yeah, I like Kamyabinia a lot. He's super solid. He's like, he almost reminds me of not as good version of Ando in a lot of ways, in that he's a workhorse. He's physically strong. He is good at distributing the ball. He is a threat to the opposition, really box to box. He's really always running up and down the field. And in my opinion, also a pretty high IQ player. And for that reason, I definitely do like him. And I definitely do say he is Team Melli material. Nourollahi, I think, is a no-brainer. I think that he has been one of the better center midfielders in Iran for a long time. And his recent performances for Team Melli have been pretty good too. So he's definitely a yes for me also.
You know, and from my take on Kamal Kamyabinia, I just like to say that I believe he is still Team Melli material as well. And this is because I feel like there are a few question marks with the defensive midfielder role with the national team of Iran.
Definitely. That's why he's Team Melli material for me too. I think that he is the most, or one of the most solid box-to-box midfielders there are in Iran. And, you know, he can play a little bit more on the defensive side, a little bit more on the attacking side. He's a great, solid midfielder who will bring a lot to the table if he's in Team Melli for sure.
All right, next, let's get to the center attacking midfielder. Now, this player is Farshid Esmaeili of Esteghlal. And, you know, Farshid Esmaeili has only played for Iran at the U23 level. He's 26 years old. You know, what can you tell me about him? Do you feel that he is Team Melli material, or do you feel like maybe he's one of those players that, like, he maybe deserves a call-up, but he just would have to earn it during a training session?
I kind of put him in the same bucket as Aghaei of being like borderline Team Melli material. I don't think he offers enough, especially in a position that I think that we have better options. You know, if you look at, like, let's just say Roozbeh, for example, as an attacking midfielder, even Aghaei is leaps and bounds ahead of him, even with his age. So even Mehdi could play as an attacking midfielder too. So there's a lot of different people I'd rather see ahead of him. I don't think he's that he's that spectacular of a player. I don't see a whole lot special about him. So for that reason, I'm going to go with a no.
Now let's get to the wingers. First, on the right wing, Siamak Nemati of Persepolis. Now, he's 26 years old. And this is another player who actually he has not been capped before for Iran at the top level. And what can you add about this, Dara?
Yeah, so Nemati, he's a solid player. He came to Persepolis a couple of years ago, and he wasn't like a very high profile guy. Came from one of the small clubs, I believe it was Paycon, if I'm not mistaken. And he came in, and I don't really think there was huge expectations of him. He did perform pretty well, like right away, and he has been able to perform at a big club. So my hat is off to him for that. It's not an easy thing to do, and it's something that a lot of people in the past in his situation have crumbled when they were faced with that challenge. So he's played well for the club. Again, just from a depth standpoint, we have so many wingers in Team Melli that are better than him, and quite honestly, even in the league that are better than him. So maybe if he was in a different generation, he might have had a chance. But with this crop of wingers that we have, there's not a chance that we will see him in Team Melli, nor do I think he deserves it.
I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one as well. Now for the other winger, Mehdi Torabi, also a Persepolis. Yeah, let's just make this clear. This Persian Gulf Pro League most valuable 11, according to Transfermarkt, is just very Persepolis and Esteghlal. I think we've realized that, and also, of course, and let's not forget Aghaei of Sepahan. But now on the topic of Mehdi Torabi, I mean, for me, he is still Team Melli material, but he's a player that kind of confuses me at times. I feel like there's times where he's really shown that has a lot of potential. Then I feel like there's times where he kind of, takes a back seat a bit. I mean, he's good with set pieces as well. And, he's 25 years old and he's been capped for Iran plenty of times. But, unfortunately, we have not really seen him do, he didn't get to play in the World Cup. He did play a bit at the Asian Cup. But like I said, to me, I still feel that he's Team Melli material. But if he does not get called up for some qualifiers, it's not something that's going to be breaking news.
Look, Torabi is, in my opinion, the most talented winger that there is in the Iranian league. He offers so much. Has incredible pace. His footwork and his dribbling is also incredible. His shooting and his eye for goal is top notch. He has great vision. He's a great passer. Like, there's really nothing you could almost critique about his game. His consistency, yes, I guess it is a little bit up and down, but not to the point that it's concerning. He still is for sure a quality player who deserves to be in Team Melli. And yeah, I think he will be. I think he might even have a decent role in the team going forward as well.
Well, if he does have that role, I would just really like to see him take some free kicks. Like I said before, he's good with set pieces, and that's something that our national team really needs. But like you said before, with Saman Ghoddos being back, yes, he can also fill in that role as well. Now,
Ghoddos needs to take every free kick.
Okay, yes, you heard Dara Zarandi say it. I agree. Let him take the free kicks. And I'm not going to talk about certain players that should not be taking free kicks. This is all about positive energy.
Yeah.
And last but not least, and of course, this is a player that I had to really plug in because, we're doing the most valuable 11 based on players that are eligible to play for the national team of Iran. No disrespect to Diabete of Esteghlal, but we had to bring in here Alipour, and we did an episode, and we talked about him recently on a previous episode, the rumors that he might be headed to Europe. So having said that, the fact that there are some European teams interested in him, I would say I am okay with saying that he is Team Melli material, but he would have to work so hard to get some minutes in a really, really important match, especially when you got to compete with the likes of Sardar Azmoun and Kaveh Rezaei.
I think that the only way he'll be Team Melli material for me is if he goes to Europe and he performs. At the moment, just the striker position is the hardest position to break into. And for that reason, he's just a no. He's a solid player overall. He has a very decent goal scoring record, for a big club like Persepolis. So hats off to him for that. He, again, kind of like Nemati. I think if he was in a different generation, he might have had a chance to have a bigger role in Team Melli, but he's not somebody who would make the cut for me personally.
All right, well, that's it for this edition of Team Melli Talk. Really do hope you enjoyed Dara, Zarandi, and I breaking down each of these players who are part of the Persian Gulf Pro League Most Valuable 11 according to Transfermarkt. Dara, as always, great to have you on the show. Hope you enjoyed this edition of Team Melli Talk.
Thanks, Art. Chat soon.
Okay, everybody, you know what to do. You get to our website, teammellitalk.com. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Hit that notification button. We'll see you on the next edition of Team Melli Talk.